Will Perez hunt down Verstappen? Sergio Perez is not at Red Bull Racing to serve as Max Verstappen's backup driver. We know this since he frequently says it. When he wins races, he says it. He says it when asked to assist a colleague in winning races. It's just that Perez has virtually always finished second to Verstappen over the last 2 seasons. He may not be technically cast as the Dutchman's sidekick, but he has yet to demonstrate the ability to become Red Bull Racing's leading man. But this season, there is a subtle difference, which may prove to be game-changing. We're just 2 races into the season, but there's no question that the 2023 championship will be a 2-driver battle between teammates Perez and Verstappen. There are no exterior competitors, simply 2 sides of the same garage. An intra-team battle has the ability to totally alter the rules of engagement, and with Perez prevailing convincingly in Jeddah, he's laying the groundwork for his transition from supporting cast to main part. But if he wants to go all the way, he'll have to put everything on the line. Verstappen appeared to be on course to dominate the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend until a drive shaft issue knocked him out of qualifying in 15th place. Perez appeared to have everything under control, but only for the first 16 laps or thereabouts, after which the race was restarted by the safety car. Verstappen was suddenly close behind him, and with half the race remaining, the margin between them was only 5.4 seconds. Yet the Dutchman's seemingly unstoppable march to victory never materialized. Initially, the team instructed both drivers to hold station with a goal lap time. Perez first obeyed, until he saw Verstappen was defying the instruction. Yet every time the Dutchman picked up the tempo, Perez gave it his all. Lap after lap, both cars accelerated, but the margin remained constant. Verstappen didn't realize his teammate couldn't be caught until lap 43 of 50, when he surrendered, defeated. It wasn't the kind of exciting wheel-to-wheel combat that will be remembered at the end of the season, but it was a perfectly timed act of on-track defiance by Perez against Verstappen's ambition to win the race, despite his team's orders to cruise to the finish. That night, he was not the backup driver. I really loved it, especially at the finish, just pushing each other with lap numbers, and knowing he went a 10th faster, a 10th slower, a 10th quicker, Perez said. It was pretty intense. Christian Horner, the team's manager, was also impressed. He being very honest about Sergio Perez's victory in last weekend's 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. But let's definitely argue with this point. After all, neither of Perez's outstanding victories in the 2020 Sakhir GP for Racing Point, nor his 2022 Singapore GP Red Bull triumph contained an awful start gaffe that allowed a slower car to seize a lead it really had no right to. "I think that was his greatest Grand Prix," he told Sky Sports afterward. So that was an undoubtedly excellent performance, but can Perez maintain it? His performance last season suggests otherwise. He started similarly strong with a pole in Saudi Arabia that would have resulted in victory if it hadn't been for a poorly timed safety car. Yet he rebounded brilliantly with 6 podiums in the next 8 races, including a victory in Monaco that brought him within 15 points of Verstappen's lead. Yet he soon drifted away. He only outqualified Verstappen 3 more times and achieved 5 more podium finishes, one of which was a win. In the final standings, he was defeated 454 to 305. Note that Perez has always performed well on street circuits. Both of his pole positions have come in Saudi Arabia, as have 4 of his 5 wins and slightly under a third of his 28 podiums. When taken together, it portrays a picture that encourages prudence rather than encourages the notion that Perez is in the early stages of a meaningful battle. But there are some reasons to be optimistic. The RB18 was built to better fit Verstappen following a difficult start to life, which contributed to last year's fade-out. This year, the team believes it has a machine that can accommodate both drivers, and Perez has been vocal about his enthusiasm for the resources he has at his disposal with the RB19. Additionally, given Red Bull Racing's apparent lead over the competition, Perez may have more time to shape his car around him, rather than being railroaded into a development program that makes the car faster but at the price of his preferences. Yet, having said that, could Perez truly beat Verstappen? Is he truly capable of outracing a generational talent like Max in a straight fight? It's already been done. Simply ask Nico Rosberg. Rosberg's chapter on defeating Lewis Hamilton in the 2016 championship is as prolific and instructive in the book of workmanlike drivers usurping their star teammates. Nobody, not even the German, will claim that Rosberg was faster than Hamilton that year, yet he was sharper and possibly more determined to position himself to profit from the Briton's missteps and misfortune. He gave his all in an effort so exhausting that he retired at the end of the year, confident he would never be able to maintain that level of concentration again. The mental strain was huge, since an intra-team war like the one he fought and won versus Hamilton is fought both on and off the track throughout their 3 years as colleagues, concluding in 2016. The rivalry within Mercedes was legendary. Toto Wolff was compelled to randomly switch mechanics between cars for the whole season to try to clear the air, and they still slammed into each other twice. Both were accused of violating team rules regarding engine modes and strategies, and mind games were prevalent. Both were threatened with dismissal after colliding on the first lap of the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, an unprecedented escalation in modern Formula One. It's the kind of behavior a driver can get away with only when there are no external opponents to unite against. Instead, the garage's two sides automatically turn against each other. Perez must decide whether he is willing to risk all on an internal struggle to see if Verstappen will crack. His body appears to be vulnerable to a vicious full frontal assault. Despite the rarity, there have been cases of dummy spits that have affected his performance. The most recent was the Singapore Grand Prix last year. He was forced to abort a pole lap owing to an underfueling error, for which he chastised his team, and this was followed by a startlingly mediocre effort in conditions where he normally shines. Perez won the race after starting second on the grid. Just last weekend in Saudi Arabia, Rosberg informed Sky Sports that Verstappen refused to attend his engineering debrief on Saturday night after his drive shaft failed, which he also blamed on the team. When you're battling for a title, and it appears to be simply between two cars, we have to make sure that the two vehicles are likewise reliable, he remarked at the weekend's finish. We also know that the Verstappen camp, led by father Jos Verstappen and manager Raymond Vermeulen, is volatile to say the least. They've been unyielding in their efforts to mold a team around Max. It's long been speculated that they were important influencers in the team's Sky Sports boycott late last year over remarks on Verstappen's 2021 title victory. Then there was also the memorable team orders debacle in Brazil last year, following which Vermeulen was observed in passionate debate with Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. Later, the team issued a watered-down media release exonerating Max. That event demonstrated that Verstappen feels so empowered by the situation that he believes he is above reproach internally. Yet if this year's championship is solely between him and Perez, Red Bull Racing will feel at least some obligation to provide a fair fight. Failure to do so risks having 2023 marked by driver mismanagement, tarnishing what should be a shining success. In that instance, what is normally an established unbeatable position could be weakened by a strong internal assault. It would risk destabilizing the team, which is already missing the late Dietrich Mateschitz. Perez's career would be on the line at the team, yet as Rosberg demonstrated, it's occasionally the only way to bridge an otherwise insurmountable difference in pure speed. But that's all academic for now, given the season is only 2 rounds old. Perez must first demonstrate his ability to win battles on the track. Only then does he stand a chance of winning the battle. What do you think? Can Perez take it from Verstappen? And if so, what will that mean for their future as teammates in Red Bull? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and thank you for watching the video.